Alright, I guess we're starting. I'm gonna try to talk a bit and see. Oh, of course, loud noises. Thank you. Starting off with loud noises. Wonderful. Thank you, loud noises. If you're not awake now, you sure are awake now. I don't know if you can hear me or if I'm very quiet. So this time I'm actually going to turn down like music at the volume like all the way like off. Well, I can hear myself on the video now, but I can't hear any of the music, so this time is... But that's not really like a huge thing in this game, so I guess it doesn't matter. Okay. No, I don't want to restart Steam, I don't want to update. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright, let's get into this. Load the game. Or not load the game. Start it. Yeah, there we go. So, we're gonna play... I have the other one downloaded too, I'll have to get that one next week. Volume 5 of Affection, Unwanted or Untrue. Oh boy. Walking, you sure are doing a lot of it recently. Back on Earth, you never got near this amount of exercise. You're gonna be so in shape when this is over, provided you still have all your limbs attached and your bones uncrushed. You could probably come up with safer ways to travel, a taxi or some sort of bus system, but you don't have any money and you can't read signs. Also, you are routinely covered in blood and bruises. So, walking it is. Tired as you are, your feet still carry you forward to friendship. I'm doing Mr. Troll first. I already have like spoilers on who they are, so kind of unavoidable. As usual, the streets are hopping, just bouncing around like an overactive bunny rabbit on Easter morning. Up ahead is an intersection of streets and is some kind of night market. Well, every market I'll turn it as a night market. As previously stated, you are broke, but there's nothing wrong with a little bit of window shopping. Who knows what kind of awesome stuff you'll find. You can learn a lot about a culture from their stores. You are so intent on thinking positive thoughts that you are nearly at the market before you realize that quite a few people are coming towards you in the opposite direction. Some of them are running, actually, and screaming. Looks like something has gone down, violence-wise. It's not a stampede. You aren't in any danger of being trampled, and the street is wide enough to just step aside and let the crowd pass by. Or it would be. You get a brief furtive glance at a pair of focused yellow eyes under a low-pulled hood. Then a hand grabs yours so tightly that the tips of your fingers go numb. With a rough yank, you are pulled into the flow of the crowd. The troll girl who has a hold of you speaks quickly and quietly. You have to lean your head in close to hear. We are on a date. You are my mate sprit or my morail, whatever you want. We're just a normal couple out for a night on the town. We're gonna go catch a movie and get some soft-serve grub cream. You feel me? Wow, okay. Freak out and let the poor beast out of the bag. Yeah, that's the fail. You stop abruptly and someone smacks into you from behind. You go down hard, your hand gripped away from the girl's. She gives you a fierce glower of disappointment. Fine, just more people letting me down. I'll deal with this on my own. I've done it before. She takes a running leap for the alley wall, scampering up and onto the roof like a squirrel up a tree. You are left looking down at the smudge of violet blood she left on your palm. An emptiness fills you at the thought of the friendship that could have been if only you'd kept your chill. Game over. Leap of faith. Leap of unfaith. Alright, I forgot to look up, like, what their, signs... Oh, hi. Hello. What their, like, signs and aspects and things are. Hold on. FriendSim Wiki. I like to write that down on notes as I'm playing. Where's the fifth one? Yeah, this is why I've been spoiled for who they are, because it's like, well, I need to look up their signs and who they are. I won't say yet in case anyone who's playing with me is spoiled. The other one is Zebruh Codakk, I could say his name. This one. And... sorry, just give me one moment. Where's this sign? His is the sign of the penitent, making him prosper in doom. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay. How are you guys doing? This is a bit earlier than I'm streaming before. I hope you can hear my voice if that's, before we get any further, if that's like going to be a problem, or if the music should be a little bit higher, something like that. That was a problem last stream, and I didn't think about it because there wasn't anyone to tell me that it was wrong. I'm assuming it's fine though, so. Yeah, I'm fine. Okay. Let's start this puppy up again. Yeah, Violet Blood. Apparently. I wonder why Violet Blood would, disguise herself as a Gold Blood. That's interesting. Were there girl Violet Bloods on the extended Zodiac? Or not the extended, the troll call, that's what it is. Okay. Gotcha. That means she's got fake double horns. Okay, do. Play along and hold hands. Your heart beats so hard you could feel it in the back of your throat. You adjust your grip a little to make your hand easier to hold. In response, you get a squeeze, like she's thanking you. You match her pace, a surprisingly difficult feat considering how short she is. Behind you, people are still shouting. What the heck happened back there? Someone died. You figured that, but that's not exactly rare for Alternia, is it? You've seen way more dead people here in the last couple days than you've seen through your entire life on your planet. You tell the troll girl you thought that was just kind of normal here. Normal, sure, when low bloods get killed. Natural order of things, right? But with high bloods, it's different. Personally, I don't give a shit about the natural order. Doesn't matter what the job is, I'll take it. Oh. So a high blood is dead, and you are currently holding hands with the troll who did the dirty deed. She chose you to help her lay low, i.e. she made you her accomplice. You are now her friend. Oh, she killed a violet blood. She killed a violet blood. That's gonna cause some shenanigans. Oh. Ah. No. I clicked a bunch of things. Go back. No. Ah. Sorry. My thing froze on me. It didn't let me, hold on. How do I go back? Sorry, give me... Oh no, that continued... Ah. Oops. Hold on. I gotta start this again. I meant to go back because when it froze on me and then I tried to click on it and then it skipped a bunch of pages. Okay. There we go. Oops. Alright, let's try this again. I don't function very well in the morning hours, as you can see. That's okay. This time, game, don't freeze on me. That would be lovely. Okay, play along, hold hands. At your pace. Yep, someone died. It's a high blood. I did it. Helping someone carrying out a cold-blooded murder is a super friendly thing to do. What she had call you, her mate spirit? You aren't sure what that is, but it sounds great. You ask her what you should call her. My name is Polypa, but there's no reason to go throwing it around. Let's not talk at all. You went to point out that it won't look like a very convincing date if you're just walking in silence, but that would require talking, and she told you not to do that. A trio of those spiky robots go marching by, drones or whatever. Their big, ugly heads swivel back and forth like they're looking for someone. Polypa doesn't say anything, and she keeps her eyes forward, but she goes as sharp as a laser, every muscle in her body tensing. You feel it through her hand, her fingers tighten on yours until the drones disappear into the crowd. She yanks you around the corner into a small alley connecting two roads. There's nothing here but a pothole and a couple dumpsters. Hold up a minute. Her hoodie has a symbol on the front of it, two overlapping gold ovals. Most trolls seem to have a symbol designating their blood color on them somewhere. This means she's a gold blood, right? Wait, aren't there just two violet bloods at any given time? No. No. Violet blood is Eridan's caste. Fuchsia is the Empress. She didn't just kill Triza. And it's not that there's just two, even for the Fuchsia bloods. It's just like, you usually have Empress, and then you have like the highest of the young Fuchsia bloods, which is like Heiress. I'm pretty sure is how that works. Because like in this Alternia, Triza and Feferi have to exist somewhat at the same time. Unless they just straight off kill Trezza in Hiveswap, and that's how they replace her with the fairy. I don't know. But I think it's just like the one who's vying for the throne is like at the top of the actual heiresses of the Fuchsia Bloods, because it did mention like the Empress goes around like viciously killing all the young Fuchsia Bloods in order to keep her throne. So like implies there's more than one. Polypa is an olive blood? Huh. Interesting. Oh yeah, there she is. But then Polypa like yanks the sweatshirt over her head, and underneath she's wearing a tank top emblazoned with a symbol in olive green. It looks a little like a cat. It's pretty cute. She tosses the sweatshirt into the deer's dumpster and kicks a button on the side, a whoosh accompanied by the sulphury stink of immolation. Note to self, don't go dumpster diving in Alternia. Polypa grabs your hand again as you go back out into the street. With her other hand, she works the tie out of her hair, shaking out of its ponytail, letting it fall in thick, sweaty clumps against her neck. Next, she reaches up and takes part of her right horn off. Wait, no. It was a little bit of veneer and an artificial bit to cover up the notch in the chitin. What are all these random wardrobe changes about? You wonder until you actually begin to listen to some of the conversations happening around you, and check out the big billboard-sized screens mounted on roofs every few blocks. It seems like the rumor mill is already going hard. Apparently a well-respected violet blood is dead, killed in public in full view of witnesses by a gold blood girl with a ponytail. Wow, you're really dealing with a professional here. I need to find somewhere to lay low until the heat turns down. I mean, we both do, since you're my associate now. I had a contact waiting, but I don't know what happened to her. It's possible she got spooked. Got any ideas for likely hideouts? I'm not from around here. You wonder what in the world made her think you have any idea what's going on, ever. She keeps giving you sharp looks as if she is gradually catching on to just who she has chosen to recruit. You want her to understand that no matter how busted you look, you are an amazing friend and a co-conspirator. Well, here's your chance. What do you propose? Hide out in one of these apartment buildings. That's a possibility. Most of the hive sims around here are cheap rentals, burgundy or bronze at most. I could take them, no problem. I mean, I can take anyone. Some jobs do just require a little more forethought. You kind of meant finding an empty unit, or maybe skulking in a foyer or alien Starbucks, but you don't want to tell your cool new friend how to do her job. And there you go again, jumping the gun and claiming friends you don't have the right to, but she did choose you. Though at some point she may be wishing she'd grabbed some other random stranger's hand. Well, pick one. This was your idea. Oh geez, you seriously don't need this kind of responsibility in your life. Nothing good will come from letting you be in charge, but you also don't want her to think you are useless. You kind of just wish she'd tell you what to do and leave it at that. You pick a tall purple building at random. How about that one? Sure, I guess. You enter what seems to be a standard shabby apartment building, climbing the lobby steps up to a hallway lined with doors. This could be any apartment on Earth, but instead of letters on the nameplates, there's these colorful symbols. They remind you a little of zodiac signs. Huh, weird. Anyway, all the ones here are red or brown, like Polypa predicted. She listens at a couple doors before finally settling on one with a red symbol. You wait for her to pull out a lockpick or a high-tech paraphernalia, or even just a pin from her hair. Instead, she takes a step back and delivers 2 sharp kicks just above the knob. Cool. Alright, so for her stuff, it says she's a potential prospect dreamer and hero of breath, which is really interesting. She does seem to be very, like, the apathetic loner type of breath, more than the, like, playful, like, just do-do-do-do-do type of breath, which is really cool. So I'm just going to write little notes like that. Apathetic loner. And she is very, like, straight to the point, like, no fluff. What? I'm not the goddamn super. You assure her that you're absolutely not judging the way she's running this operation. You don't think you've ever met a mercenary before. Unless you count the guy who tried to hit you up for cash when you were injured, or the little girl who drained your blood for paints, or the boy constantly on the prowl for delicious meats. This apartment is dingy, small, and smells like old pizza. Good news. Not that it smells bad, just the fact that there's pizza here. You don't think you could live on a planet that didn't have pizza. That's just beyond the pale. You try to shut the busted door in as well as you can, pull up and plunks herself down on the couch and pulls out her phone. Or what Skilla had called it, a palm husk? She pulls out her palm husk and proceeds to ignore you. That's okay, it's important for friends to give each other space. You take the opportunity to poke around the apartment you're currently illegally occupying, just generally being a nosy piece of shit. Whoever lives here is a real slob. Dishes are piled high in the sink, and the windows are so dirty you can barely see out of them. Something sticky and red stains half the counter. It might be blood, but it also might be Kool-Aid. Ah, God damn it, shitting fuck breath. Something appears to have gone wrong. Polypa is still on the couch, hunched over with her palm husk held close to her face. She types with her knuckles. You've noticed a lot of trolls do that, probably because of their claws. Oh, typing with their knuckles. That's really interesting. That's a neat bit of lore. It's all over Chitter. Everyone's talking about it. My contact. They got her. She's been culled. Her voice is flat, her eyes expressionless. She lets the palm husk slip from her fingers into her lap. You stand next to the couch like an asshole. You don't know what to say, and you doubt Polypa is the hugging type, but you really can't stand her looking so dejected. Before you start pitying me, don't. I barely knew her. It's not like we were in a quadrant or anything. It's just business. You sit down on the other end of the couch, tipping your head and raising your eyebrows to show you are very ready to listen and learn and commiserate. Polypa wraps her arms around her knees. Most pros work with a partner. It's a lot easier when you have someone you trust to watch your back. It's usually quadrant pairs who work together. There's one particularly famous olive blood and gold blood duo. Olive and gold blood. I've lost plenty of jobs to them, but I've never found anyone that I trust enough to make into my partner beyond just a random one-off. Killing a sea dweller is no joke. It's almost totally impossible. Does that mean the guy in the back in the town square isn't actually dead? Polypa looks affronted at the very thought. Excuse me? No, it just means I had to get a very expensive knife and coat it in a very expensive poison and stab it in exactly the right place. Huh. That's really interesting. You need like a really specific method like that to do that. So a very expensive knife, probably a super sharp one, coat it in a very expensive poison, probably one that would affect him, stab it in exactly the right place. That motherfucker is dead, there's no doubt about that. I don't leave jobs half done. High caste jobs are my specialty. Most people are too afraid to take jobs higher than teal. Ooh. She specifically like high caste, like high risk, high reward type of stuff. Okay. Me, I don't care low blood, high blood. If you've got the cash, I'll do the job. If I did have a partner, it would make things a lot easier, I'll admit that much. You cough lightly into a closed fist. What's this? Something caught in your throat, perhaps? Could it be the steady hand of fate reaching a finger down and testing your gag reflex? You murmur delicately that sometimes destiny steers you in a direction you never thought you'd go. Maybe, just maybe, it has steered her to you. That's forward for sure, but you're pretty much an old hand at this by now, right? Polypa snorts. It's a little watery. She isn't crying, is she? No way, not a tough assassin like her. You're imagining it. You? No offense, but I only grabbed you because you look so weird, and I figured you wanted to avoid the drones even more than I do. You don't exactly blend in. You can't argue with her logic, but a sourness starts in your throat, and now the realization that Polypa had not chosen you for your obvious trustworthiness and friendship potential, but rather because you look like a goddamn disaster. Fair. A very fair assessment. Whatever. You can get past that. God knows you've gotten past worse, like attempted murder. As a good friend recently said, you gotta break a few Clef-pieced embryos to make a grublet. She's considering you now more thoughtful than before. Well, I guess beggars can't exactly be choosers. But you have to remember. You aren't destined to find out. The fate finger reaches down further and chokes you. Keys jingle outside the apartment before whoever's out there catches sight of the busted door. What the hell? You and Polypa lock eyes. Oh shit. A quick flash of silver and suddenly a knife appears in Polypa's hands. Where did it even come from? Outside in the hall someone is swearing. The broken door falls inward, and before it is all the way open, Polypa is up and over the couch, launching herself at the intruders. Shit, wait, you were the intruders. And this is what you were afraid of. You were about to watch your new friend kill some poor little blood troll. This is such a terrible idea. Too bad there's no way to go back in time and make your choices all over again. Yeah, that would be rad. You wish life was like that. A short, stout little guy with a red symbol on his shirt comes through, but right behind him is a troll so tall he has to duck down to get through the door. Oh, hell no. The giant troll catches Polypa with one hand. He's got big ram-like horns and a curly purple symbol on his shirt. His face is painted in lines of black and white, makeup designed to make his face look like a skull. Look, babe, look at these tiny wriggler thieves. Polypa writhes in his grip, clawing at him like an angry cat. He hangs on, giving her a shake. Shit, you have to do something. But what? If you get in that purple guy's reach, you're absolutely going to get killed. You try to move your feet, but your survival instincts are kicking in and you are rooted to the spot. You can't do anything. You are useless. You don't even know what happened to Polypa's knife. God, you wish you had taken some self-defense classes back on Earth. The high blood gives Polypa a wide smile and tosses her across the room like he's lobbing a dodgeball. She lands on her back, rolls on her feet, bolts for the window. Of course you have a high blood mate's break. The high blood turns to you and sticks out a big gray tongue, and wow, you can move your feet again. You throw yourself out the window after Polypa. You're only one floor up, but that's one floor more than you would like to be when falling out of a building. Your fall is broken by Polypa, meaning you get a collection of bony elbows and knees applied to your gut. She bares her teeth at you. Get off, idiot. They're definitely going to call the drones. We've got to run. You roll your big floppy body off her and hustle to keep up as she peels off down the street. You throw one last glance over your shoulder to see the two guys hanging out the window. The high blood waves lazily. Polypa starts out strong, but pretty soon she is limping and leaning on your shoulder. A jagged piece of glass is wedged in her calf muscle. Lean down to get a closer look. You're no doctor, but recently you've become an expert in acute injuries. What the hell? Stop. Do you want me to leave a blood trail? We need to split up now that we've been seen together. Your heart sinks all the way to your aching feet. God, you've been so sure you had this one on lock. You mentioned, half mumbling to yourself, that maybe it would be better if you stayed together, safety numbers, all that. Oh yeah, maybe safety for you. This was a terrible idea. I can't believe I ever trusted that someone could have my back. Yeah, let's do another one of your amazing plans. Sounds great. She leaves you at the intersection of streets. Even though she is no longer leaning on you, you nevertheless feel a heaviness settle inside you. Philosophically, a deep fatigue so intense you want to curl up on the ground. So you do. At least your ass didn't kill her. Game over. Alright, let's go for what I hope now is the winning scenario. Skippity skip. Skippity skip. We're gonna catch a movie and get some soft serve grub cream. Philippa's mouth twitches. It could just be a muscle spasm, but you'd like to think it's a smile of approval and burgeoning camaraderie. Yeah, I guess we could. That's what people do on dates, right? It's been a while. Haven't seen a movie in forever. Yeah, she's very, very heavily into the breath. What's interesting though is that I'm thinking she's either an active class of some kind, possibly a thief, or destruction, possibly both. Well, not possibly both, because I don't think she's a prince. I think she's either like a bard or a thief, which is a weird combo, but it makes sense to me. I'll explain. She seems to be getting herself in like a lot of like bad situations, but she's very like, she jumps the gun, which is a kind of like a thief personality trait, like just sort of active, going at it, whatever, no problem, like we're getting this done. It's more like an active player in general trait, but I do notice it in thieves a lot. There's also the fact that she's an assassin, which is kind of like a roguish like type character, and like thieves and rogues and that kind of thing kind of fits together in my eyes. It also could be that she is a bard. But we'll see if like what kind of bard she is. Like, has she already had? I'm feeling she has had a crisis of blood, and that's maybe why she's so gung-ho into, or sorry, not a crisis of blood, crisis of breath. Which, what would that look like again? I had notes on that. Hold on one sec. Get to my desktop. Ah. Nope. Buttons. Work for me, please. Oh, pardon me, I have to open up some documents. Now it wants to be slow, Jesus. How long does it take to open a Word document? Come on. There we go. Okay. Where is that? No, yeah, reading Prince of Breath. She could be Prince of Breath, too. She is pretty violently stubborn, and she does seem very pessimistic as well. Yeah, she might be Destruction. Yeah, probably not Bard of Breath, actually. So either probably like Prince or Thief, I'm thinking for her. So I'll write that, Prince or Thief. Either or could work very well for her, in my opinion. So let's do it. She squeezes your hand. You would have thought holding hands for so long would get sweaty and uncomfortable. You are certainly nervous enough, but her skin is surprisingly cool. With a couple of exceptions, all your new friends have been literally cold-blooded, also metaphorically for a few of them. But you aren't going to judge them for their lifestyle choices. This isn't your place as a friend. Regardless, your point is it's kind of nice holding hands, even if it's under completely false murder pretenses. Come on, there's probably a theater in there. Makes sense, you aren't from around here, and you don't think Philippa is either. But you can always recognize a mall when you see one. Stores and escalators and fountains full of slimy mall water that's probably been in there for years. The biggest difference from this and an Earth mall is that there doesn't seem to be anyone working at any of those stores. Everything is automated. That and the top floors appear to be reserved for highbloods. Philippa's still holding your hand. Gosh, it's like you were really on a real date. This is very, very friendly. As far as you know, you've never been on a date with an assassin before. You can't read that showtimes and descriptions, and you don't have any money, but Philippa chooses the movie and pays for you both. She tosses a couple of coins into a slot, and the machine spits out 2 tickets. You don't see any soft serve grub cream, but you are a little too queasy from mingled nerves and excitement currently to deal with anything called grub cream. You do, however, stop for a bag of buttery exploded kernels at the concession stand. The theater you follow Philippa into isn't very crowded, but you still feel every pair of eyes settling on you as you walk up the steps. Your heart pounds and sweat slides down the back of your neck. You are just positive everyone can see right through you to the steeply controversial cross-species matchup you got going on here. Even worse, Philippa takes a seat weirdly close to the only other group in here. Man, awkward. The movie starts playing. Apparently an alternative, there aren't any trailers before movies. Kind of a bummer. If you're going to be stuck here, you want to know what hot new summer blockbusters you have to look forward to. Surprisingly, the movie turns out to be a romantic comedy. You expected Philippa to choose a thriller or a horror movie. From what you can glean of the plot, it's about a beautiful young Jadeblood who gets involved with a visiting Blueblood and their servant, a big bumbling bronze. The portrayal of Lowblood strikes you as vaguely offensive. They grunt and fall down a lot. The caverns look a lot fancier than you remember from the time you hung out with Branya, just a lot bigger and more glittery. The main character spends a lot of time pulling a jeweled comb through her lustrous hair. The dialogue is kind of incoherent, and you don't just think it's because you're unfamiliar with the cultural context. It also doesn't help that Philippa keeps a running commentary throughout. The ban on conversation has apparently been lifted. Ugh, I can't believe they added in the mistaken identity storyline. So unnecessary. Also, Black Rom is so boring in comedies. There's just no punch to it. I can't believe how bad this is. I don't remember the books being this garbage. I read it a long time ago. My taste may have just been worse back then. You are looking at her in a whole new light. She shrugs, possibly a little self-conscious. You get some interest in relationships and stuff there. What, you think I've been an assassin since I pupated? I used to have a blog for relationship advice and stuff like that. Of course, I was just messing around. I didn't know anything beyond what I'd read online. 2 characters are kissing on screen. You have no idea who they are. You are way more interested in the fact that Philippa has decided to tell you her life story in the back of the movie theater. Okay, no. Bard is now a possibility on the table. That's fair. She is probably though a post-crisis bard, if it makes sense. So basically, a bard character would start out as ghosting their opposite because of their destruction. So they would just naturally be avoidant and discriminatory of their own aspect. In her case, breath. So she would be at first as a character she would be wary of staying alone, and she'd be more focused on other people and trying to fit in with the group, and trying to build an identity around others rather than building an identity for herself. So something happens, basically, which is a crisis of aspect, where a bard of breath would be suddenly forced into a breath aspect in a breath role, shattering all the previous mini associations they had with their opposite aspect before, and then they fully become into the breath aspect. The deep blue light from the scene and the brooding caverns washes over her, making her look noble and sad. You're entranced. It didn't last, though. I doubt it had anything to do with my blog, but a few sweeps ago, a group of kids broke into my hive. I think they were high, maybe on Zebruh. Whatever, they stole a bunch of my shit, killed my Lucis, and some little psionic fuck broke both my legs with his brain. Yep, there we go. That is a crisis if you can think of one. Yeah, forcibly getting rid of that blood connection with her Lucis, forcibly breaking her physical body, also blood. A bunch of friend group did together, that's all blood, giving her a crisis. Suddenly she's alone, suddenly she has to do things by herself, there's no group, there's no Lucis, no nothing, not even a physical body that she can rely on. So yeah, this is leaning more and more that she is a bard of breath. Just because he thought it would be funny. You are riveted. You have a bit of tragic backstory yourself, but nothing this dramatic. Philippa picks through the buttery exploded kernels with a delicate claw. I was trapped in my hive. I would have starved to death if it hadn't been for some teal who lived in my neighborhood. Just some idiot who ran around with an Eastern Alternia replica sword challenging Purbeast to duels. Tealbloods are pedantic bulge lords, but they care about justice, and these kids had attacked me for no reason. I didn't break any laws. Anyway, that's why I'm equal opportunity for how I take jobs. Low blood, high blood, everyone is scum. So yeah, because of that experience she had with a crisis of breath, or she's suddenly having all this blood removed from her and all that kind of thing, now she's full on into the breath aspect. So that's kind of a really neat, I had only really kind of theorized about this whole bards having a crisis of their aspect thing, because again, we only have really 2 examples in Homestuck, Kronos and Gamzee of that, and a lot of them have plot and stuff entangled with it, but it's really cool to see a potential bard character who's also showing that kind of like storyline, like or like path, like way that could go. I just like that there's a little confirmation that it's part of like how bards and what they do. One of the kids in the row head turns around to tell Polypa that if she and her Moriel want to get all nasty and pale, maybe she should get a room. Polypa kicks the back of her chair and tells her to maybe she mind her own business. The girl looks about ready to jump over the back of her seat, but the guy next to her pats her firmly on the cheek, almost a slow motion slap, firm and intense, with plenty of uncomfortably intimate eye contact. The girl settles down after that, and everyone goes back to watching the movie. The rest of it goes by with your head spinning and your heart in your throat. You are glad Polypa trusts you enough to share her past, but you are nervous about her talking about it in public. Wasn't the whole point of coming to the movie to lay low? Think about it. When that girl sees the description in the alert, she's not going to be thinking about the noisy olive blood getting all conciliatory in public. It's way safer than skulking around, believe me. Gosh, Polypa really is an expert. You are so glad you mostly go on this date with her, even if it's mostly fake. As soon as you are back out of the street, Polypa pulls out her phone. Slowly her face falls. Fuck, that little nook-licker. I thought she bailed on me, but according to Chitter, she's dead. They got her. Damn it. I told her to be careful. Her sadness is quickly turning to rage, vibrating off her in frantic waves. Her voice gets louder, too, and people are starting to look your way. Heckling in the theater is one thing, shouting at phone about murder is another. This is going down south fast. You've got to calm her down. Deploy the shoosh pep. Oh boy. For lack of a better plan, you copy what you saw the troll inside do on his angry date. You press your palm firmly to her cheek. To your intense shock, she blushes a deep olive green and her eyes slip closed. She leans into your touch as if she is drawing comfort from this tiny little gesture. Then she blinks and pulls away. Listen, I'm technically on the clock right now. Let's be professional. She bites her lip, hesitating. Then she reaches up and repeats the gesture on your face. An unbelievable warmth fills you. Could it be? The warmth of friendship. You're a weird-looking double-horn amputee, but with very few social skills, terrible survival instincts, and both short-term and long-term memory loss. But you're all right. If you ever want to earn a little cash, I could use a partner I can depend on. Is it raining? No, those are just tears in your eyes. Tears of gratitude. Okay, don't get too choked up. You're definitely just going to be bait. You assure Polypa that, due to your general ineptitude, you wouldn't want it any other way. Victory! We've dated somebody on this dating sim. Okay, yeah. For the reasons I've said before about how she seems to actually follow that, like, whole, bard crisis path thing, and then she's just a post-crisis bard of breath who's sort of settled down a bit now. Yeah, so I'm definitely putting her down as bard of breath. Which of course means that she has bad breath as well. She's smelly and she needs to take a bath. Alright. I gotta quickly do this other guy's one, because I said I would be done at noon to my boyfriend, and it's currently 11:48, so I might just go through his, I've heard bad things about his ones, I might just go through his, not necessarily, like, reading out loud all of it, but, like, I'll read it and get through it. A nice part of town, larger mansion style, not certain upper-class enclaves equal safety to you. Power of positive thinking. Oh, hello there. I don't believe we met. I'm sure I would have remembered someone with such unique looks. You don't know where you are, do you? By this point in your time on Alternia, you don't know if it's wise to admit that you're lost and naive to the ways of the world. But you don't know that you could try to try and convince this guy that you've got any kind of street smarts. You nod your head reluctantly, but he actually looks more interested in you after the confirmation that you're new to the neighborhood. Have you perhaps found someone who likes you for your vulnerability and naivety? That would sure be fantastic luck. It's a good thing that I found you. Not everyone is as respectful of lowbloods as I am. Oh, God. Oh, but I shouldn't make assumptions just because you're not much to look at. My bad. I don't mean to be forward, but you're just so interesting. Mind if I ask what color your blood is? You hesitate. While you're still terrifyingly ignorant of the intricacies of Alternian society, you're starting to feel terrifyingly informed about the role that blood color plays in this world. And you've managed to gather by now that plain old human red isn't considered one of the better colors to have. What do you do? We're gonna lie and say we have a high blood color. Oh, really? It's not that I don't want to be friends with other high bloods, but I'm a busy troll, you understand, so I only befriend folks that I might, want to fill a quadrant with someday. Besides, high bloods just don't need as much help in our unjust society. Stay awakened. He pumps his fist in the air, and you immediately copy him, but the gesture doesn't seem to be enough to change his mind about you, but not being oppressed enough for his taste. So, I just don't think it's going to work out between us. Well, that was quick. Out of his league, game over. Alright. Let's go with the other one. We're gonna tell the truth. Red, huh? Wow, that's so unique. I've always liked the color red. I don't think I've ever filled a cauldron with a red blood before. I don't think I've ever made friends with a red blood before. Oh dear. You don't know what a quadrant is or what it means to fill one. Given your experience on this planet so far, you're nervous that it could mean something violent. But you don't want to further expose your ignorance. Let's say you're excited for the friendship. You come on strong. Nice. You need a place to stay for the day, right? I can help you out with that. I've got plenty of spare rooms for guests in my hive. Because I believe it's important to help out the undeserved members of the community when you can. My hive is this way, shall we? Follow them. It's nice. Most of them are dressed as nice. A few shabbier looking trolls might be low bloods walking with high bloods. Today is actually Flushed Affirmation Day, so you'll see a lot of trolls taking their mate spreads out to celebrate. Flushed Affirmation Day. There's probably 3 other holidays that are like for the other quadrants. Lucky for you, my flushed quadrant is currently empty, so I'm all yours tonight. That sounds a little weird. He doesn't need to be all yours, you assure him. You're an easygoing individual who's happy to share their friends with plenty of other friends. Sure, sharing can be a good time if you're into that. I could be, personally speaking, like maybe with 2 low bloods, but not in an objectifying way. Everyone involved has got to respect each other, Wow, what? You have no idea how your innocent comment about friendship has taken to this particular place. You decide that maybe the best thing to say here is nothing, because who knows how I might interpret you next. Looks like there's a lot of high-blood, low-blood couples out tonight for the holiday. Pretty unusual to see in this neighborhood, to be honest. It's sad, but most of these low-bloods are probably with their mate spirits because it's socially advantageous. Pretty shitty the high-bloods to take advantage of that, but not everyone is as socially conscious as I am. I think it's super terrible when high-bloods don't treat their low-blood mate spirits like the queens that they are. Oh, God, this guy. Oh, let's just get through this guy as quickly as possible. Give her a ride in the shoulders. She laughing as the heel of her boot pressing into the back of his neck. You don't want to speculate about what kind of people might do it, but this is kind of humiliating. Zebruh sees where you're looking and shudders theatrically. In the process of waving his arms around in disgust, he slips an arm over your shoulders. I'm so sorry, you shouldn't have to see something like that. Tactful, friendly way to move with his arms on his shoulders when you arrive at what must be his hive. Biggest, most McMansion-y hive on the block. Gesture proudly, welcome to my humble abode. I'm just grateful, to be able to share my wealth with those less fortunate. Of course, it's a zebra. When you walk in the front door, you're greeted by a very distinguished-looking white zebra. It has normal zebra markings all over its body, except for around its neck, where the dark gray zags have formed a shape that look like a bow tie, almost like it's wearing a suit. You don't know how its zebra face is managing to radiate pure disdain when it looks at you, but that is unquestionably the energy you're getting. Don't mind my Lucis, he's kind of socially old-fashioned. But he lets me keep low bloods around the hive to help out and stuff, so he's not all bad. The animals are racist, too. Let me give you the grand tour. As Zebruh takes you through the spacious hive, you can see other trolls in several of the rooms. Most of them aren't wearing clothes as nice as Zebruh's. You're guessing these are the low bloods he mentioned? They seem to be all doing chores, sweeping, cooking, exchanging green slime and troll-sized bathtubs for each other, possibly fresher green slime. Each of them glances up at you and Zebruh when you pass by, then looks deferentially away. The Zebruh Lucis is following you, and every time you exit a room, it pauses in the doorway to whinny out what could be orders, or possibly is just berating them. You arrive at the empty ballroom-looking space upstairs, where several low-blood trolls are hard at work cleaning up the remains of what must have been quite a party. Zebruh seems to notice you noticing how all the trolls in here are scrubbing the floor and how they are all avoiding your eyes. See? I told you I'd taken plenty of guests. I believe it's important to promote diversity, so that's why you don't see other indigo bloods here. Looks like all the guests are busy today. Well, an important part of communal living involves contributing your labor when it's necessary, right, guys? A few low bloods mutter an affirmation, while others just put their sponges and mops down to prostrate their whole bodies on the floor. Zebruh looks a little uncomfortable with the bowing, but not that uncomfortable. He doesn't introduce you to any of them. Now, they don't all realize yet that my hive is a sanctuary from the harsh injustices of the outside world. Anyway, enough about my low-blood guests. Let's take care of you, shall we? Perhaps his Lucis has had enough of tolerating your presence because he takes the opportunity to stop following you and go huff at more of Zebruh's guests. Now, for better or worse, you are alone, and Zebruh has turned all of his attention on you. His smile seems very friendly. You want to see it as friendly. The night is still young. I'm happy to do whatever you want to do. If you feel like going out in the town to celebrate Flush Affirmation Day, I have lots of other friends I could introduce you to, help you meet the right kind of culture, Or if you're tired, I can show you to your guest room now, and we can have a nice night in. We can go out straight in. Let's go out. You're not crazy about the idea of being alone with this guy for the rest of the night? Plus, if he's as popular as he says he is, this means more potential friends for you to meet. You tell him that you're interested in going out. Cool, that sounds like a great time. I'll just go get ready. Actually, I think I'm more in the mood for a nice quiet night in. Maybe television streaming service and lower the temperature if that's cool with you. Boy, if that has the same connotations as it does on Earth, it's not cool with you. You stumble through expressing some misgivings, but he talks over you. Great, sounds like you both feel like staying in tonight. I'm not gonna lie, I'm psyched to stay in and have you all to myself. I just want you to feel comfortable with whatever we choose to do. You're not sure why he asked what you wanted to do, since your preferences don't seem to matter much. My Lucis and my guests have probably prepared a delicious meal for you by now, but let's finish the tour first. I assume you want to see my room. You tell him, sure, bedrooms are a great way for people to express their personalities, and as his friend, you're interested in getting to know him better. He doesn't seem like he heard part of that sentence, but that's okay. Hopefully he got the gist. When you get to his enormous room, it's decorated with posters of musicians on the wall and what seems to be social justice slogans. Trollflix and chill, yeah. One poster has a symbol with clawed hands in several different colors coming together to hold a trident with the word unity underneath it. Another poster features a rainbow of colors ranging from rust to olive green that proclaims him to be a low-blood ally. Two other low-blood servants are in here, one of them standing on a stepladder to dust some high shelves, while the other crawls around on the floor, scrubbing and picking up wrappers that Zebruh seems to have just littered there. Pretty sweet place, right? You look confused by the posters. Your music taste probably isn't refined enough to have heard of my favorite bands. I only listen to subversive musicians that speak truth to power. The Grebels. Luckily, you have me to teach you how to confront your privilege and support marginalized artists. Also, did you notice my rad pile? It's a perfect setup for feelings jams with your Moriel. He winks at you. You don't know what a Moriel is, or what he means by feelings jam, which sounds like in theory it could be a nice thing, but maybe not, given the sleazy way he says it. You tell him it looks like a very nice pile of things. You spot a couple pillows, what looks like a puppet with a disturbingly long nose, some random bow ties, a few horseshoes. You look intrigued. Want to lie down on it for a second? We don't have to do anything, but sometimes it can be nice to just, pacify each other a little bit. He sprawls on the pile in what he probably thinks is an enticing way, like he wants you to draw him like one of your French girls. You turn away and try to hide the disturbed expression on your face, because turning down his advances probably isn't the best way to secure his friendship. As your eyes cast about the rest of the room, you notice that the low-bud servant scrubbing the floor is having a coughing fit. You can tell she's trying to cough unobtrusively, but it seems like she's hacking her lungs up, with each big cough racking her whole body and making her shoulders shake. Concerned, you crouch down by her side. She jumps when she notices you're concerned and mumbles that she's fine and that you don't need to worry. But she doesn't look fine. Now that you're getting a closer look, you can tell she seems to be underfed and exhausted, with sickly shadows on her face and scraped up knees and elbows. She looks bad, and you know bad, considering how much of your time you recently spent stumbling around with various excruciating injuries. You mention to Zebruh that his guest is not looking so good. He frowns, getting up from his pile of stuff to come investigate, blinking down at you in confusion and not sparing a glance for the low blood. What are you even talking about? The servant tries to go back on her scrubbing, but she struggles with coughing and scrubbing simultaneously. It's hard for you to watch. Surely she would feel better if she took a break and ate or drank something. You asked Zebruh about the hot meal she said was being cooked for you. Maybe you could give some of it to this poor sick troll. Jeez, you're making me look bad. There's no way a guest in my house could be going hungry. I respect the low-bloods and do everything in my power to take care of them. What, you think you're a better ally than I am? Considering your status or lack thereof on this planet, you're not sure you count as an ally so much as a member of the oppressed underclass, but you let that slide. You hasten to explain that you didn't mean to criticize him. You're sure he's doing a fine job at being an ally to low-bloods. Yeah, well, it's not easy, whatever. Maybe we should go eat now. I don't feel like having a feelings jam anymore. He turns and leaves the room without showing any sign that he'll do something for the sick low-blood. You mouth an apology to her behind his back, and she just gives you a tired wave and goes back to scrubbing. Zebruh leads you downstairs to the dining room, where his Lucis is supervising a team of low-bloods, setting the table for what looks like a 4-course meal. The look on the Lucis' Zebruh's face is now even more disdainful than before, and its bow tie seems angrier. Looks like dinner's almost ready. Cool. Of course, you probably figure you're probably not going to offer to pay for any of your figures, low-bloods. I mean, trolls in general, always expecting me to provide for them without ever offering any concupiscence in return. For once, you're kind of glad that you're unfamiliar with this alien vocabulary and innuendo. You have absolutely no money, which he definitely knows. You can pay him back for the dinner in friendship? Yeah, well, I'm not sure if I want to be friends with someone who has a problem with the way I do activism. I haven't got good authority from every other high blood I know that my intersectional practice is valid. You stumble over your words in your haste to assure him that you in no way meant to say he's not valid. You've never met a troll so valid. No one believes in his validity more than you do. Whatever, let's just eat. Okay, so his aspect is Doom, and that, canonically in Hiveswap, it's an aspect of suffering. But the way he interacts with suffering is like, he's definitely not a seer or a mage, let's just say that. He might be, I'm actually questioning if he might be an heir of Doom, which would be, a double, someone who shares a title with someone in Homestuck, because he seems to very, manipulate the way suffering is presented, or how it's talked about, or how it's seen. I'm not quite sure if that's full-on manipulation class yet. It's probably not that bad. But I'll write down, manipulation of suffering, basically, and see where that takes me. but with genuinely, like, no true understanding. The fact that he has a lack of true understanding of it means that he's probably not a full-on manipulator, just someone who's more insensitive to things. You can't help but notice that most of them look just as malnourished and sickly as the troll upstairs, but it might not be the best not to bring that up again. You eat in silence for a while, and Zebruh looks like he's stewing over something. Then he sets his fork down and looks over the table at you with a frown. You know what? I just realized. You totally denied my low blood her own agency when you questioned me about not feeding her. Yeah, what you said was totally problematic. You don't respect low bloods at all, do you? Not like I do. You tried to apologize, saying that it was not your intention to disrespect anyone, but that you're sorry you apparently did. He doesn't let you get the words out. People don't realize how tough it is to be a high-blood troll who believes in social justice. Seriously, I face my own kind of oppression for speaking out and being an activist for low-blood rights. For one thing, I never get the conciliation or concupiscence I deserve. My quadrants are always going unfilled because no one else agrees with my radical views. I thought you'd be different, but you don't get it either. You try to tell him that he's got you all wrong. You agree with his radical views and believes in low-blood rights, which is why you were concerned for his guest in the first place. But he acts like you didn't say any of what you just said. You're just another one of the oppressors, complicit in unequal power structures that reflect up society. Your lack of awareness of your own privilege really makes me sick. You must think you're so oppressed with your red blood and multiple injuries. But what you're doing now, rejecting me and criticizing me, it's really exactly the same as what subjugulators do to the lowbloods they call. You probably deserve whatever shitty position you have in society, unlike me. I deserve to have this nice house and lowblood servants and full quadrants for being such a good activist. Oh boy. He's standing up by now, advancing on you with his Zebruh stamping his hooves threateningly at his side. You scramble back, trying to make your way to the front door. It's tricky because you have to step around all the lowbloods who seem to feel strongly that they should get away from Zebruh when he's angry. You don't make it to the front door fast enough on your own. With a terrifying equine scream, Zebruh's Lucis rears up on its hind legs and strikes you with its hooves, battering you through the front door and breaking some of your recently healed ribs again. Take your privilege and offensive views and get out. Anyone who doesn't respect lowbloods is not welcome as a guest in my hive. I'm not taking this character seriously at all. It would behoove you to stay away. Oh boy. Is there anyone who really cares about, like, this guy's, Classpect? I mean, I'll do it, but, like, it's not getting a lot of in-depth thought. Yeah, he has this Muppet. I noticed that, too. Yeah, asshole cankry, basically. I mean, he could be a Seer of Doom. Show me to my room, please. You think that going out with Zebruh on Flushed Affirmation Day might potentially give him the wrong idea, and besides, you're pretty tired, so you don't feel like going out. You tell him you're ready to retire to your guest room now. Sure. Oh, bruh, by the way, have you heard of Chixie Roixmer? You probably haven't. You don't seem like you're a very serious music fan. Huh. Chixie Roixmer. I'm just gonna write that down because if I get a thing about that later, I'll remember. But you've got a great opportunity tonight to learn from me. One of our low-blood musician friends is playing a show for the holiday, and I can get us in because I'm super connected in the scene. We should go just in case you're there. You could have sworn you told him you wanted to stay in tonight, but okay, you can gather the remains of your energy and go out to this concert with him. That's what a good friend would do. He takes you across town to the concert, only trying to hold your hand or put his arm around you a couple of times on the way, so it could be worse. Maybe hand-holding is totally platonic on Alternia? You hope so. The concert itself is one troll with a guitar and a harmonica who, according to Zebruh, is a low-blood whose songs are spreading truly radical messages, almost as radical as Chixie's. You enjoy the tunes as much as you can, but you don't understand what the lyrics are trying to say. You ask Zebruh what the lyrics mean since the message is apparently important to him, but he gets annoyed with your question. What? The lyrics are about, well, they're about a lot of things, social justice and oppression and stuff. It's hard to explain to someone who doesn't already get it. Like, if you're not on my level already, I don't know what I can really say, you know? But enough about the music. I want to talk about you. What sort of things are you into? You haven't had many opportunities on Alternia to talk about your interests. How exciting. You say that you like playing games, but he's already interrupting you. Cool, sounds great. Really interesting stuff. What's your quadrant situation like? It's hard to pretend that you know what he's talking about now that he's asked you about quadrants directly. You admit that you have no idea what he means by quadrant situation. Whoa, you're even more clueless than I thought. Don't worry, I still find you attractive. He goes into a brief, but not really brief enough, explanation of the 4 types of romance on Alternia. Matesmanship, the flushed quadrant, which to you sounds the most analogous to human romantic partnerships. Or allegiance, the pale quadrant, which sounds like an exceptionally codependent friendship by human standards. Auspicism, the ashen quadrant, which you don't understand at all. And kismessitude, the black quadrant, which just sounds like repeatedly hooking up with someone you hate. You're fuzzy on all the details of all 4 of these, but you understand enough to get that he's asking if you're single. You tell him that you really just want to be friends. Of course, I super respect your choices. If you ever change your mind, I'm right here, and being in a quadrant with an influential yet sensitive and socially aware indigo blood like myself could make it a lot easier for you to survive and thrive on Alternia. Wasn't he criticizing that kind of high blood, low blood, socially advantaged relationship just a few hours ago? It wouldn't be very friendly of you to point out this hypocrisy, so you don't mention it. After another song, another troll at the club sidles up to Zebruh and whispers something in his ear, then skulks off again. Zebruh looks alarmed, glancing around him and edging towards the club exit. I just got a tip that there's about to be a culling at this concert. We should get out of here. You definitely agree with him about wanting to get out of here. You look around at the rest of the audience still enjoying the show. You and Zebruh are the only ones getting ready to leave. Is he going to warn any of the trolls here of the danger? Oh no, definitely not. If I were to warn any of these lowbloods that a culling is coming, that could mean risking my life too. Not that I've ever tried, but everyone knows that. The Highbloods here will probably be fine though. We've got each other's backs. It's important to look after your comrades in the struggle. Sure enough, you can see that the other trolls who, much like Zebruh, stand out because they're wearing nice clothes, are casually but urgently leaving the concert venue. The lowbloods are still clapping and singing along with the singer on stage. No one is giving them a tip-off. Come on, we've got to scram. The two of you abscond, getting away from the music club as fast as your legs can carry you. By the time Zebruh decides it's safe to slow down, you are tired and out of breath. Looking around, it seems like you arrived back in the high blood part of town. You wonder if the drones have descended on all those trolls at the club by now, and you just can't hear it because this neighborhood is too far away, closed off, and sheltered from the violence. Ooh, that was a close one. Going to low-blood cultural events like that can be dangerous, but it's one of the risks that you have to take if you want to be an activist. I can't tell you how many times I've risked a culling to fight for the low-blood rights. Civil disobedience is the only way to fight the authoritarian state. He turns to you and takes one of your hands in both of his, looking deep into your eyes. I think it's so cool how you supported me back there when we risked our lives for the cause. That's probably the best way you can contribute as an activist and ally, by supporting me. And speaking of activism, we were talking about quadrants earlier. Let's get back to that. This guy just does not want to take no for an answer. Once again, you reiterate that friendship is what you're looking for here. He nods enthusiastically and squeezes your hands tighter. Fuck yeah, I love friendship. I've always believed that a strong friendship is the best foundation for any successful romantic relationship. And many trolls start by being friends first and enter a quadrant later. Even if you try to be friends but then fight too much, that can still prepare you for a collisionist quadrant. Either way, the thought of being your friend makes my blood pressure beat a little faster. Sure, you say, if that's what we're doing is extolling the benefits of friendship, then boy do you have some things to add to this list. For instance, friendship can give you a sense of platonic companionship with your fellow man, and friends can also come in handy when you need someone to help you move or take you to the airport or other non-romantic activities. You think friendship is a great thing to pursue for its own merits. Friendship is so great that once you have it, why would you want anything more? Hell yeah, totally, you're right. You're so right that friendship is a great first step. Did you enjoy the concert tonight? Did it persuade you to be an ally for low blood rights? You think that, going by your blood color and how often you have almost gotten killed by those more powerful on this planet, you're more likely a member of the oppressed underclass than you are an ally? But you decide not to split hairs and just tell them that, yeah, you'll be an ally to yourself. That's fantastic, I'm so happy to hear that. If you're an ally to lowbloods, then I'll allow you to be my mate's friend. Friend, you correct him, you can be his friend. Great, yep, sure, I meant to say friend. He lets go of your hand finally, which at least counts for a partial victory, and winks. Victory. Oh dear. Yay, we win. Okay. Well, then. I will admit I don't have much thought for his class. I can understand where the Doom part comes in, because he's definitely interacting with the idea of, suffering and whatnot, but not in a very good way. Oh dear. I know which ones he's not. Let's go with that. He's definitely not an understanding class. No true understanding of anything that's happening. But, you know what? You know what's really hilarious? I think it might be Sylph. Passively invites the creation of Doom. By doing nothing, he's inviting more suffering, and he thinks he's suffering, so he's a Doom player. And that one's pretty funny to me, so I'm gonna go. He does seem like a very passive yet manipulative type, and there is some sort of, I guess, cultural connections between Sylphs and the manipulation class. Even though Sylph itself is not manipulation class, it can come off as very manipulative. Sylphs generally have a sort of understanding of things that are going on, but they have their own understanding of it, not necessarily a genuine or a true understanding of it. And Sylphs do seem the kind to be sort of nagging and they stay calm, they stay analytical, they happily give their opinion all about their aspect. They meddle, fixing any lack of it they notice, but fixing it the way they see, like they fix their own problems, not necessarily the problems that actually exist. And their challenge is to actually act upon their opinions instead of just waiting by the sidelines, which is exactly what Zebruh just did. So, it does make a weird kind of sense, right? Like Sylph of Doom. I'm not gonna go into so much because it just I don't really care. Oh, Chixie Rocksmere. She was the troll that was okay, revealed with Zebruh. That's interesting. But yeah, Sylph of Doom makes a weird kind of sense for him, for Zebruh. And then yeah, Polypa is a Bard of Breath. I think fits quite nicely. So yeah, those are the ones that I think they are. As for my schedule, and the next time I'm going to do this for Volume 6, it'll probably be roughly a week from now, roughly at the same time. So that would be July 7th, also at 11 a.m. EST. With how my schedule goes, it looks like I'm going to have like lots of Fridays and Saturdays off. But my schedule changes every single month, so I'll have the same schedule for a month, and then it'll be different. But I'll try to aim for things to be on Saturday or Friday, because that just works for me early in the morning. Alright, I hope that was fun. That was interesting. There was a lot of interesting lore bits, like how trolls type with their knuckles and not their actual fingernails. That's really cool. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff in there. So I hope you guys had fun listening to me talk, or even just watching this finally and getting my Classpect thoughts on things, because that's basically what I'm doing. But I'm going to stop now because it's past noon, so I'm going over what I promised. Alright, so see you later. Have fun.